Hello. How is everyone doing today? We are live. Welcome to today's episode of Her Version. Cathy Spaz is here today, and she's actually going live on her Instagram also. So she is setting that up for her followers over there. Listen, this podcast, Her Version, is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Hello. One of my favorite things is when I see my guests dancing in the background to my intro. That is my fave. I'm so happy to have you here with us, Cathy. This podcast is built around storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories and their journeys. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Cathy Spaz. Cathy is a highly sensitive, lively, and passionate mother, wife, and horse girl. As a former elite international show jumper, Cathy is no stranger to the spotlight herself and the unique pressures faced by those ascending to the upper echelons of their profession. After suffering from a severe burnout in 2016, which she describes as her personal turning point, Cathy set out on a new path to help other highly sensitive people like herself create the life of their dreams and understand they can have massive career impact without sacrificing their health, relationships, or boundaries. That one's important. Cathy is here today to share her story and prove that despite your past, you can rise above and create a life full of limitless potential. Welcome. In all of your years, throughout your journey, I'm sure you've had lots of ups and lots of downs. I'd like to highlight, maybe a situation that you were in at some point in your past where you felt like you had failed. And, one of the things that I love to talk to my clients about is the importance of learning from our failures or things that maybe didn't go so well or some of the struggles. Do you have a story that you could share as far as something that maybe didn't quite go the exact way you wanted it to go, but then what you learned from it?
Oh, I have a beautiful one that is happening still right now. So it's very recent because becoming a mom for the second time, having that C-section and recovering very slow from that, investing a lot of time in my health and my body and recovering is one thing that I've invested a lot in these past few months. But I'm also a very driven entrepreneurial spirit. So to be honest, I was doing a million things. When I was delivering my baby, I had a planned C-section, but then my baby showed up 2 weeks early on the worst date ever because my husband was going to run a marathon that day. And that night she decided, no, this is my time to shine. So yeah, that was beautiful. So I've invested a lot of time in that, but even the day that I delivered my baby, I had to do like a million phone calls for a renovation project I was doing. And the weeks after giving birth, we still had a lot on the program. So I was working so much behind the scenes of that renovation because it was from A to Z. And that cost a lot. But then that was one thing because it was also bringing me joy. But then we were also renovating our own house. We still are. So they came to fix the roof. We put an entire new roof. We've got quite a big roof. So they worked for 5 to 6 weeks with a lot of noise. I've had very little support on for the children these past months because the daycare closed because the lady has COVID. So I was having the kids at home 5 days out of 7. And that meant that those other 2 days I had to do everything, like going to the physio and the things to recover, and every now and then, try to go to my horses if I could. But then there was so much noise. And for me, one of my weaknesses is the noise. My brain is very sensitive when it goes overboard. So I've had 2 babies, which is quite some noise. I've had those work, the work that had a lot of noise, and you have to be here because when your child has to go to bed, you have to be here. So, oh, it's been very heavy. And then, I'm still working on the next steps of the renovation phase. So to make a very long story a little bit shorter, um, sometimes you think that you have to do a lot of things in order to grow or to move forward.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can make you go backwards. And that's what I've been experiencing. It's been quite the hell for me these past few weeks
Wow.
because my brain it's gone in overdrive. So that means that sometimes I get dizzy, sometimes um, I feel like there's a blur in my brain. Or when the dogs, we have 2 puppies, like who does that when they have a little baby? I mean, yeah. So we have 2 puppies. So
Oh,
that's a lot of noise and a lot of work. Um, so moving backwards, like we said, but I can't stand the noise anymore. It really overstimulates me. So I actually, by thinking that I was moving forward by doing a million things at the same time, I was moving backwards. So I can see this being something that I could have learned way back because this is something I bump into quite often. I'm not the person who enjoys a quiet, still life. I'm the person who enjoys to go hard, to go all out. So it's interesting that sometimes that's not the best way. And sometimes you have to listen to other signals your body is sending
mhm.
that you get to take that step back. And you really need to take that step back so that you can, yeah, so that you can start moving forward again. So that's what has been going on. I've had to take that step back every once in a while, and it's not been easy because that's not easy for me. We've got a lot going on. There's a lot of work here. And then it's hard to say, shit, I've got to do less.
Yeah.
You know, what in my renovation am I not going to do? Because I
Yeah.
want everything and everything now. That's
Yeah.
who I am. And I love being that person, but it's not for now. And that should be okay too.
Definitely. Definitely. When you got into kind of realizing or awakening or whatever vernacular you used for that, started getting into personal growth, you said it was kind of like early 30s. What is your view on personal growth, as far as the importance of people stepping into it?
Well, to be honest, my personal growth I started when I was 19 years old because my mom, she gives courses of spiritual development and all those kind of things. So I
Wow.
was very fortunate, and I took all her classes, and she just created a new one. So I'm in the new one as well because I love getting those new techniques and new exercises and to just tune in and connect with myself again because that's one thing I've always continued doing. As a coach, I think it's really important that you still keep working with coaches yourself.
Yeah.
So I've always done that. And I think it's really important to spend some conscious time and to invest time, energy, and money in your self development and personal growth. Because I always used to think that time or money was some of the things that can enrich your life. And
Yeah.
it is true, it does. But if your quality of life isn't good, there's nothing else that can make this better
Yeah.
or more fun or your enrich your life more. It's really, this is number one. This is the foundation. If your quality of life sucks, then you can have or do whatever you want in life. It's never ever going to live up to the way you want to feel.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the biggest one for me. And that's always what I try to, tell my clients, because you are number one. You are the
Yeah.
director of your movie, the captain of your ship. And if you don't treat your life as your ship or your movie, then you're going to get lived by someone else or by other people.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
That's so awesome that you were entrenched in that at such a young age. That's not normal.
No, I was always with older ladies. So now I'm
Wow.
yeah, that's so
What
much
do
fun.
you take extra initiative knowing that, as far as yeah, I know your kids are younger, but are you doing
Oh
anything
yeah.
consciously to make sure that that's instilled in them?
My son is 2 years old,
Yeah.
and whenever he gets frustrated or finds something challenging, I always, it's so simple, but this is the first thing we do. We've been doing this for quite some time already. And then we do this just one or two times. Just I said, okay, let's just first let's breathe. So I want to just teach him to be more conscious in the moment,
Wow.
seize the moment. Because once you just breathe for a second, you know, it already creates more distance from the situation that is going on. So it helps you take a step back and to ease into it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it works like a charm, and sometimes, he's too upset or angry or throwing stuff around because he's a kid. And then he won't do it, but then I'll do it. And I know that it calms him down because he's used to doing it with me. And we don't do that for a minute together or anything. It's just like, just take a second, just one breathing moment, so that it stays okay for him. I don't want to force it.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
and that's just one of the small things, but yeah,
So powerful.
yeah,
So powerful, because that's so simple. We teach our children automatically tools on how to deal with anger or stress or frustration or whatever it is, and they're not always the best. So
no,
why not instill a simple tool that's just as easy as any of the other ones, that's more constructive? I absolutely love that.
yeah,
And I
and
and I love the example of him being so young.
yeah,
They're
he's 2 years
never too young
and
to just
4 months
start,
or something. Yeah,
yeah, to start instilling those tools at a young age. And just like anything, they'll grab it when they're ready to grab it. But if it's never available to them, then there's no other option other than whatever you're doing, which
yeah,
a lot of times us as adults, if we don't know personal development, we're teaching them the wrong things.
yeah. But that's true. And still, you still sometimes lose yourself in getting overstimulated and freak out too soon, and instead of staying calm, because staying calm is what helps them. And
Yeah.
I've also, yeah, it's like you say, teaching them that exercise. It At the beginning, it was hard for him because, he couldn't. But by just continuing and not getting angry, but just showing it to him and doing it together and just trying to do it that one time, now it's a lot easier for him to do it because
Yeah.
there's also no pressure. We just take that second to just breathe together, and that's it.
I love
And
that.
then we just reevaluate the situation, try to put it into words so that his emotional maturity grows, because that helps very often with solving problems.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it puts the pressure on us as parents to make sure that we're using the same skills that we're wanting them to use,
Yeah.
so it almost makes it an obligation on our end, which it should be, to use those tools when we're encouraging this. It's a constant reminder. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.